Whenever I go to a roller coaster, I notice I'm too short to go on the rides. A lot of the rides, they require a height limit. I'm under 5 feet. They say, Addie, you're too short. Well, how does someone grow? They grow because of mitosis. Mitosis is the process of your cells dividing. For example, this little baby zombie, for him to grow into an adult zombie, he goes through mitosis. His cells continue to divide, and he gets bigger and bigger because his cells divide, making him into an adult. If I were to get a bow and I shoot this zombie has a wound on it. In order for it to heal, his body goes through mitosis, his cells would divide and patch in that wound that is on him. The biggest thing you need to know about mitosis is it is identical, okay? It is a copy of the cell. It is not making a new cell. This is not sexual reproduction. This is purely just cloning that cell, making an identical cell. This is important because let's say you're trying to make another stomach cell. With the previous stomach cell, you don't want something that's like a bit off. You want all of your stomach cells to be the same. Another important thing about mitosis is that it does not continue to divide. If it continues to divide rapidly, that is why we get cancer. You know, it continuously divides without any need to divide. That would be a cancerous cell. In fact, the interphase you're going to learn about, I have a 90 written right here because it takes up 90% of all of this. The interphase is not part of mitosis. The interphase is the phase before mitosis, and that's 90% of all the phases. So mitosis is only 10%. It's a very small percent. Interphase is the largest amount for this. With the interphase, you have your cell and you have your DNA. Your DNA is all everywhere, okay? It's like the information. If you're used to this game, you might know a command block. It has all the info you can put in this. You have all the data in this. That is basically what the nucleus is, the DNA is. It holds all of the information. That is all of this. This blue is going to be all the DNA strands. It's hard to go through mitosis with a bunch of DNA strands. It gets lost, it can get tangled, it can do all sorts of bad things. And so your body, your cells function in a way where it actually takes this DNA and it condenses it into chromosomes. And chromosomes are held together by these centromeres. It's the little red thing that holds these sister chromatids together. It's held together, and this makes chromosomes. And this is basically packaging the DNA in a way where it's a lot more functional, a lot more movable. It's like if you put all of your stuff inside a chocolate box, you know, all this inside there, and you could easily just pick it up and take it with you. It's not all out everywhere. It's very condensed, packaged, easy to take with. However, the tricky part is that this is one chromosome and one chromatid. However, when you add it to the other side, it's still one chromosome and two chromatids. So these, what we count as the chromatids, if this is just one chromatid, this would be two chromatids. However, the chromosome is really just depends on this centromere. It just depends on the centromere. So you see how the centromere is still only one? That would just be one chromosome, whereas there's two chromatids on either side. So for example, if I were to make, let's say I build this, this would be one chromosome, two chromatids. If I add that to this would now be two chromosomes and three chromatids. Because again, the centromeres is the number of chromosomes, okay? And these will be the number of chromatids. So for a human body, we have 46 chromosomes. However, when we are wanting to duplicate an exact clone, we have to double that number by 2. If we wanted to duplicate 46 times 2, that would give us 92. This makes sense because, again, when you're going to split the cell in half, you want 46 on one side and 46 on the other side. If we come over here and actually start our mitosis process, and remember, mitosis is only 10% of the actual cell cycle, okay? Interphase is the 90%. And if you come over here, you could just notice this dog that's on this mat right here, and it just pissed on this mat. So you can remember it as pee mat. I like to think of it as piss mat. It just helps me remember. That is how you're going to remember mitosis. So the P will be prophase, the M will be metaphase, the A would be anaphase, and the T would be telophase. P mat. To start with prophase, we have these two little things that just got added, the centriole and the spindles. The main thing you need to know is that the spindle fibers are basically the hand, okay? They can grab onto things, they can pull things, they can extend. Kind of like an octopus. I like to think of these as like an octopus. Like the centriole is like the little body of it, the little head of it. And the spindle fibers is like a big hand that can just come on and it can grab things, okay? It's like an octopus. We still have, if you notice, we still have the nucleus. We still have the chromosomes. Now in this stage, the chromosomes are like getting thicker and everything. Nothing crazy has happened yet. But next phase, if we go to the metaphase, you will see I have the M highlighted because this is going to be really important to remember what the metaphase is. The M for metaphase means middle because the chromosomes are in the middle. And you can see these spindle fibers, like I mentioned before, it is pulling them, it is attaching them to make them stay in the middle. And actually, this is one of the most perfect straight lines you will ever find in nature, is in the metaphase. It is a perfect straight line just across. This is with the help of the spindle fibers. They are taking them and they're just putting them together, aligning them. And the next phase, the anaphase, you see I have the A highlighted. The A you can remember as away, because the spindle fibers have taken the chromosomes and now they're moving them away from the middle. So originally, the M for middle was all in the middle. Now it is being taken away. So going on that side and that side, they're being separated. Next, we have T, telophase. T, you can think of it as 2, because now there are 2 nuclei that is being separated. And you see here it's 46, because there's going to be 46 chromosomes on this side, and there will be 46 chromosomes on this side, because if you remember at the start, they duplicated, so it was 92, and then 92 divided by 2, because this is getting split in half. Now there's 46 on both sides, so that is why they duplicated at the beginning. The next one is cytokinesis. Cytokinesis is not part of mitosis, it is more so the ending cycle. It is, you can remember cytokinesis, the C is cytoplasm, because now they're separating their cytoplasm. They're becoming their own cell finally. So this is the ending of mitosis, and once again, you can remember this as PMAT. P, prophase, M, metaphase, A, anaphase, T, telophase, okay? PMAT. I have 3 examples here. Without any names, you can try to guess what this phase is. So without any names, can you guess what this phase is? We can see that the chromosomes are being pushed away to both sides. That means this would be anaphase. On this side, you can still see that we have a nucleus right here. This is prophase. Lastly, we have a last phase. You know what phase this is? Well, if we look at this, the chromosomes are in the middle, so this would be metaphase. M for middle. To go over final highlights, remember, you can remember this as PMAT. The purpose of mitosis is to repair body tissues, for you to grow up, for your cells to divide, you can get bigger, I can get taller, for your fingernails to grow, for your hair to grow, anything of that nature, that is part of mitosis. Remember, it is identical, it is not sexual reproduction, and it does not continuously divide, because then that would be cancer cells. I hope this helps.